Hi, I'm Janet from Chez Les Fleur podcast, and we love to talk to women in business. And whether it's the trials and tribulations, whether it's the triumphs, the blood, sweat, and tears, we love to hear their story. And today we have with us Jodie Forestell, and she hangs out a lot with food, but she's a nutritionist. So she helps people. Well, you know what? I'm gonna let her tell us what she does. So Jodie, thank you for being with us today. I know you're busy and I appreciate you taking time to be on our podcast. Um, I have, maybe it's just me, but I seem to be seeing a surge in interest in nutrition. And that's something that you're working in. Do you share with us what your thoughts are?
Yeah, I love that there's more people learning about nutrition, that they're wanting to take better care of themselves, that maybe they don't want to depend so much on their doctors for their health. I'd like to see that trend go a little bit more. But for me personally, what brought me to this field, I always call this my second life. I haven't been a nutritionist my whole life, but I arrived here, the same way that many people and other practitioners find their way into the world of nutrition. And that's really through my own lived experiences. Um, as I was creeping into my late 40s and inching towards my 50th birthday, something shifted in me and I did not feel well. And, to be completely honest, I thought I was going crazy and I didn't know what was going on. I know now what it was, but I didn't know what it was then. And I had this deep desire to, feel like myself again. And I really wanted to learn and explore how I could support, my whole being, my whole body, holistically. And I think that's what a lot of people are wanting to try. I'm not against medications. I want that to be known when I say this, but I sometimes feel like medications, they're handed out very quickly and very easily. And when people come to me, they're like, oh, my doctor wants me to go on medications. I don't really want to do that. So that's sort of what led me to this field. And then as I started to learn, a lot about metabolism and hormones and, really just the power of nutrition, I really wanted to scream it from the rooftops. And I was quite mind blown as to just how powerful, lifestyle and nutrition can be. And I think other people are really starting to discover that as well, which makes me so happy. So I wanted to really help people, cut through all that noise, understand, how their body is actually working, make changes in their lifestyle that feels doable and sustainable and not overwhelming. And then over time, I mean, I got more education, I got deeper knowledge, and I've been building a coaching practice where I help, support people in doing this in a sustainable, positive way. And um, I find a lot of people come to me because they're wanting to take responsibility a little bit more for their own health. And I love that so much.
Well, and we're, as we've sort of touched on, we are becoming more and more aware of what the long-term impact of food additives is, what the long-term impact of, say, drinking pop is, the long-term effects of always eating fresh vegetables, whether it's, a negative or a positive, we're more aware of what some of those outcomes are because we've now had, some of those foods that were probably introduced to the marketplace when we were teenagers. I always think back to drinking Tang, and the idea of it horrifies me now. But that was just what you did.
Yeah.
That was just one of those things, and
Yeah.
so I think it's really great that people are paying more attention to that. When you work with people, what is one of the most common things that people come to you wanting to work on with their nutrition and their diet?
Um, So the majority of my clients come to me for weight loss. I did not become a nutritionist for weight loss. Didn't even cross my mind, but that's what they come to me for. So I pivoted and I thought, okay, I really want people to understand because we believe that in order to be healthy, we have to lose weight, and it's the complete opposite. We need to get healthy, and then, did I say that right? People think that they need to lose weight to be healthy, but they need to be healthy to lose weight. And so my goal when people, and it's usually women, I do have male clients, but the majority of my clients are women. So my goal is to first help them to not focus that their wins and that their health achievements is revolves around the scale and the number on the scale, and to help them realize that when all of a sudden their digestion feels better and their bowel movements are better and their energy is better, that's, when they're going to start to drop their weight. So they come to me, the first thing they want to work on is their weight. That's what they come to me for. And then it shifts. It takes a little bit to get the number and the scale out of their heads, but eventually the majority of my clients are like, oh yeah, I came to you initially for the weight, but I mean, all the other stuff that is going on, I don't even care so much about the weight, because your body is never going to drop the weight if it feels unsafe and unhealthy. Like, it's just, that's not how we're designed. So I would say weight is why they come to me. And while they do often achieve that, it's not their biggest win when they leave working with me.
Right. And, the whole energy piece is so important. I mean,
Yeah.
if you've got energy, you can
Yeah.
you can conquer the world.
Yeah. It's the first thing, actually, I would say that the majority of my clients notice when we start to work together is that their energy all of a sudden shifts. And that happens because depending on what their nutrition looks like, um, if it's a lot of processed foods or takeout, or they're not eating enough, which is often the case as well. Um, but let's take processed foods and takeout foods when their body is so busy trying to process that and trying to you know get rid of it and do what it needs to do. It doesn't have the energy for all the things it wants to do. So when we eliminate a lot of those things out of their diet, all of a sudden their body has all these nutrient dense um, calories and nutrients that it can actually do with what it was designed to do, which is rebuild and repair and detoxify and growth and all of those things. And it feels like a miracle to them. It's really just eat better food. And it sounds so simple, and I know it's not. I know it's not. It is for me, but that's because of what I do. But it's wonderful when someone says, "Oh my gosh, like I didn't need that cup of coffee at 2 o'clock in the afternoon," or they don't even notice all of a sudden that they're not needing the coffee. All of a sudden they're like, "Oh, it's 4 o'clock, and I feel pretty good." So the energy is what they notice first. It's a
Yeah,
big
that's
deal, energy.
that's yeah, that's terrific.
Hmm.
I notice when I talk to people or when I'm reading something, the movement towards eating clean or eating whole foods. Is that something that
Yeah.
you could expand on?
Yeah. I mean, there's such trendy words, right? Eat clean, eat whole. But I mean, at the same time, it's not as hard as people think. And people think, I don't have time to meal prep. I don't have time to cook dinner. And it's like, well, I always kind of think that if you just, the one pan meal, that's the same as pulling something out of a box and putting that in the oven, right? Put some chicken thighs with skin, please, and some olive oil, and cut a sweet potato in half, and maybe put some veggies on the same pan, put it in the oven, and that's also going to be done in like 35, 45 minutes. So um, I think sometimes there's a lot of noise around those words, but what I like to tell people, if they're looking to eat whole or eat clean, when you're looking at what's on your plate, or if you're looking about what you're going to eat, does that look like how does does it look like how nature created it? So if you have an apple, right? Nature created that. If you have an apple roll up or a fruit roll up, nature didn't create that, right? So is eating as close to how the less processed, the better, right? Even once you've sliced an apple, that's kind of a form of processing. If you core it again, if you peel it again, right? If you put it in a pan with a whole bunch of sugar, now you've got a sugary applesauce again, right? Like it's like if you can just eat it as close to how nature created that food, that's going to get you as close to eating as whole and as clean as possible. I don't know if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And what, yeah, it does. And one of the things I read recently was if you can't pronounce the ingredients on the ingredient list, don't eat it.
Well, it's interesting because I went and I went grocery shopping the other day and I like cream in my coffee. That is my
Oh,
treat.
yeah.
I put cream in my coffee.
Oh, yeah.
But if you look at, and I should have been more prepared, it doesn't matter. If you look at like an organic cream, okay, so just go into the health food part of the grocery store, which it's crazy that they even have one of those in grocery store. But anyway, if you go to the health food, you get the organic cream, look at the ingredients. It's going to say milk or cream. That's it. Then if you just go to the other section of the grocery store where the other half and half, and these are both half and half, and I'm not going to name brands because they're all the same, but it's got all these other ingredients in it. Like I don't understand why a half and half cream, in order for it to be organic, it just has like milk slash cream, and the other ones, like, okay, I'll just say Nelson's or whatever, like take a look next time you go to the grocery store and
Okay.
go and read the ingredients. I took pictures of it because I'm like, I got to make this into a Instagram post because I don't understand and I can't pronounce those ingredients that are in the other half and half, and I don't know the purpose of them. Maybe shelf life. That would be the only thing I can think of. Like,
Okay.
I
I
don't know.
am going to do that
Yeah,
because I
that's where you
never,
guys. Yeah,
because I just took it at half and half. I didn't
yeah,
even think that's not something I would have thought to look at the ingredient list on.
yeah,
I mean, I do it with yogurt, milk, and bacteria. Those are the two
yeah.
ingredients. So if it has more than that, I don't buy it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's the key, right? And it takes time and you can't just flip your fridge in your pantry, but it takes time, right? Like and the more you learn and the more you get used to it, then the more you do. Like you don't do it all at once. But I think when you really start to look at the ingredients on things and how they're prepared, it's often even not the food, it's what's been done to the food that becomes the problem, right?
Right.
It's so
And, there are so many great recipes now that can be put together in 15 minutes and baked for another 15 minutes. And,
yeah.
you can fold a load of laundry and dinner's ready. And,
That's right.
and but it's taking the time to look for that and to find those things that, and then of course, if you've got family members, it's
Hmm.
always helps if everybody likes the same thing and
Hmm.
you don't have the ooh, there's tomatoes in this,
Yeah,
that whole scenario too. And but it's encouraging to see people and listen to people more engaged with what they're eating and what's in their food.
yeah, it's a
um
big deal.
it really is,
Hmm.
because food is medicine. At
Yes, it
least,
is.
what is the most common question that a new client would ask you when they come to see you?
Um, the most in my lead forms are the most things they say, I'm doing all the things. I'm eating healthy. I'm exercising. I'm drinking water. I'm doing all the things, and I'm still not losing weight. I'm gaining weight. Why is that? So that would probably be it's a question over frustration over what am I doing wrong? Why do I still, and that's wording that question politely. And women especially are so hard on themselves, right? They'll call themselves names and they'll say, why am I still a fat cow when I'm like going to the gym 5 times a week, and I'm eating the salads. And my first question to them is always like, are you eating enough? Right? Because often women don't eat enough, right? We still have that. We think it's simple math that less calories in, more calories out is going to equal weight loss. And as we get older, that's not true. That's not how our bodies work. And so that's the most common question is, what am I doing wrong? Why is this not working? Why do I need you? So, yeah.
Yeah. And that I wouldn't have thought of that maybe we're not eating enough. That
Nobody ever does.
yeah, that's a revelation.
Yeah.
So if you could tell people to stop eating one thing, just in general, what would you tell them not to eat?
Added sugar.
Okay.
Sugar is just, yeah. And I'm not talking about the sugar in fruit, but sugar is in everything. And honestly, it's not good for you. It's not good for your liver. It's not good for your gut. It's not good for your immune system. Um, that's what's packing on your pounds. Fat doesn't make you fat. Sugar makes you fat. Sugar, it's not good for you on so many levels. And it's addictive, right? Like, foods have sugar added to them. These foods are designed to make people want more. And so bit by bit, eliminating the sugar. So like you mentioned, you eat yogurt. If when someone tells me they eat yogurt, my first question is it plain or is it flavored? Right?
Right. Yeah. And the
Go
gelatin.
for plain and add the blueberries to it to sweeten it. So,
And when you get to the yogurt counter, there aren't many that are just plain.
and buy one that's full fat. Stop eating low fat foods. That's the other one. Stop. It's not good for you because low fat foods often have sugar added to them because when you remove the fat, it doesn't taste good. So they have to add something to it to make it still taste good. So you'll buy it.
Yeah, fat does taste good, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Um, how long have you been working at the position you're in now? How long have you been doing that?
So I went um back to school for what I do in 2017, and I opened my business in 2021. It's pivoted and shifted and changed over. I'm almost 5 years in. So yeah, about 5 years officially, but I've been working on it since 2017.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, I really I really appreciate you taking time to see us today because I there's a lot going on and everybody's doing lots and lots. Jody, what we try to do is at the end of our time together, I like to fire off some questions
Okay.
that if you're up for them,
Hit it.
I've got some questions for you.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Okay, perfect. Tooth fairy or Easter bunny?
Tooth fairy.
Kitten or puppy?
Oh, that's a hard one. Um, I used to be kitten, but I think I'm going to be puppy now. Puppy.
Okay. Peanuts or almonds?
Almonds. For sure, almonds.
Flip-flops or sandals?
Flip-flops, I can get them off easier.
Yeah. Spring or fall?
Oh, fall. All the way
Yeah.
fall.
All the rich colors and the beautiful,
Yeah. Just the
nature decorate.
smells and yeah.
Excellent. Jody, thank you very much for taking time to be with us today. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. And, you've given me some things to think. I'm going to leave this podcast and go check out the cream section.
Yeah.
You know I'm going to do that.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
no,
amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
well, I'm glad you were able to join us because I think a lot of us could talk about food forever, all
Yeah,
day, all night. It really is it's a fascinating topic and it
hmm
does keep us alive, so it's pretty important.
that's right. Yeah. And your body's amazing. So
Yes,
it
they
wants,
are.
yeah.
And they're amazing for us. They just
It keeps
There's,
going.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much for being on Chez Les Fleur podcast. If you are joining us for the first time, thank you for watching. If you're a returning visitor, we're so glad you keep coming back, and we appreciate seeing you every podcast. Jodie Forestell has talked to us about food and nutrition, and she's just a wealth of information. So, Jodie, we really appreciate having you with us today. If you love hearing about the ups and downs of business and what women are doing in their careers in small business, then this is the podcast to watch. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.